Hello Internet and welcome to the Philosophaster. This is a thing that I'm trying to put together and will happen, I don't know, semi-regularly, so whenever I feel like I have enough things to talk about, which will hopefully be increasingly possible. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised at the state of the way things are going, but let's see how we go. Just quickly, I want to go have a talk about Australia Day and the recent events around the Triple J Hottest 100. For anyone who's not in Australia who happens across this, the Triple J Hottest 100 is a countdown of the 100 top songs chosen by the public, voted on, and then played over Australia Day, which is Australia's
answer to Independence Day or Bastille Day, but a little bit weirder, and mostly centered around barbecue, the Hottest 100, and not really acknowledging our pre-colonial history.
Basically what's happened here, because the Triple J's Hottest 100 is promoted as the world's greatest music democracy. It's the official slogan according to Triple J, who are sort of like our independent music radio station. They sort of try to promote new artists, and what's happened is I think it was BuzzFeed started a campaign to get Taylor Swift's "Shake It Off" #1 in the Hottest 100, and this got a lot of groundswell. People got really into it. Some people got into it because they thought it was funny and they just wanted to fuck with the guys who were really into Triple J, and some people just genuinely thought, why not? Why that they like Taylor Swift and they want to get behind, just getting behind promoting her. In the end, as anyone from Australia will know, this turned into a surprisingly big controversy and ended in Taylor Swift being banned from the Hottest 100. They put up a response to all the hubbub around the Hottest 100, saying that basically it wasn't fair and it would be terrible if some of the lesser known artists didn't get in, which I'm not saying I disagree with. That's completely true. It would be unfortunate if some of these younger artists, some of these less well-backed artists didn't make it into the top 100 because of a joke. But to go to the length of officially outruling Shake It Off, like banning it from being included in what is supposed to be the world's greatest or the world's biggest music democracy, does a couple of things. It lends a lot more importance to this act, and it just sort of solidifies what most of Triple J's critics have to say, is that they're just perpetuating artistic, specifically music snobbery by not listening to music from the mainstream. They do a lot of good work. They do a lot of great work with promoting young and unsigned artists. But to be honest, I don't want to inflate this by making it a bigger issue than it is, and it has sort of died down already. But there's been a couple of instances where bands that were previously already well known, quite large, have gotten into the Hottest 100. We've had bands like Nirvana charting at least in the top 10. We've had U2 make it to the top charts in a year where they were never played. This very same year, one of the arguments that they made was that Taylor Swift wasn't played on the radio station at all, but nobody contended Sia getting into the charts when Sia wasn't played either. I just feel like for one small prank that sort of doesn't matter, because as I've discussed with people, it's never really whoever gets in the number one position that matters. It's more who gets in the number two position that is more important, because we can usually pick the number one before the Hottest 100 has started. It's usually someone that's leaked out onto a different radio station or has gotten a lot of airplay. I just feel like it's essentially undermining the idea of the Hottest 100. That's all I really sort of want to say about that. I'm going to move on from that. Alright, so I just want to talk about something. This also happened over Australia Day. The current Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, the very unpopular Tony Abbott, you may have seen him, a segment about him on John Oliver's Last Week Tonight. He is reintroducing knighthoods and damehoods to Australia. So the Order of Australia, which was established in 1975 by Queen Elizabeth and was disbanded in, I believe it was 1986, was effectively reintroduced, and Tony Abbott thought that Australia Day would be the perfect day to do this. It would be, big symbolic gesture, big grand symbolic gesture. So he gave out the first knighthoods, and he's granted knighthoods to Prince Philip, which is effectively, when you look at it, it's effectively demotion, really. I've seen a lot of fantasy films and books, and I know that knights serve the prince. So I don't know if he would truly appreciate this honour that is being bestowed upon him. But I think the best part of this is that Abbott has knighted King Henry the VIII, the 16th century monarch, King Henry the VIII. So, it's good, because we can now start to form our own Knights of the Boomerang table, and looks like, as an honorary position, I suppose, Henry the VIII would have to sit at the peak of the boomerang, but just next to him can be Prince Philip, and I'm sure Abbott will save himself a little seat at the table somewhere.
And I know that the sun rises brighter over there, and that it's always miserable over here. So take me with you to Australia.
What do you want about the crime rate really soared in Great Britain when people figured out where they were going to be sent to, Let me get this straight. You keep the shitty weather and the shitty food, and we get the Great Barrier Reef and lobsters the size of canoes. I'm Jack the Ripper. No, I'm Jack the Ripper. I'm Jack the Ripper. I'm Jack the Ripper. We're all Jack the fucking Ripper. Where's the boat?
I really enjoyed reading this today, actually. In Iceland, they want to build a temple to the Old Norse gods. It'll be the first temple of its type that has been built in the 1,000 years since Christianity took over in Iceland. And I'm actually, despite being an atheist myself, I'm actually quite behind the idea, because they're quite open. They're quite open about what this is. They say, we see the stories as poetic metaphors and a manifestation of the forces of nature and human psychology. So effectively what they're saying is, we know that they're not real, but it's sort of like a community. It's a good way to get together. It's nice. But they're sort of emphasizing that they're not real. It's sort of like LARPing religion, effectively. and I'm all behind it. Good on them. I cannot possibly pronounce the name of the group, but I might put it up on the screen just there, and you can have an attempt to name it, to pronounce it, or if by chance you are from Ireland, I don't know how you would be seeing me, you can send me a phonetic pronunciation so that I can learn something today.
They say that they're opening the church due to increased interest in their religion. Attendance has almost tripled in the last decade. Now, I think the church should probably thank Marvel Comics, or maybe more specifically Marvel Studios, for the increased burst in popularity. And they should probably put a statue of Chris Hemsworth dressed as Thor as the main centerpiece of the new church.
Hey everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day! Hinga-dinga-durgan!
Meanwhile, in ignorance, there's a few things that I want to talk about. So, as I'm sure most of you have already heard, there's an outbreak of measles at Disneyland. Now, this is due to a lot of anti-vaccine propaganda and a lot of just misinformed people who a lot of it comes from there was a study done many years ago which has been debunked, which loosely linked a rise in autism to vaccinations, and I cannot emphasize enough how wrong it is. There is no link. It has been thoroughly disproven. There is no link between autism and vaccinations. It is very important that you get your children vaccinated, that you keep on top of that. This has happened in the US where measles was thought to be extinct, essentially. It was thought to have been wiped out, and yet here we are. The happiest place on earth has just been overrun by a preventable disease that wasn't obesity, because obesity is rampant in Disneyland, but that's a bit harder to fight. You can't get a shot for obesity. I just cannot emphasize enough how much it is important that you do not listen to the anti-vaxxers. They are essentially like how first world is it that we have a means of stopping disease, and yet there are people who, and their biggest claim is that it's for the health of their children. I don't think that they've caught the deadly irony in that statement, that they won't vaccinate their children for their health. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's astounding that there are as many of these people as there are. Yeah, it's just horrid that it's so rampant. And if you take nothing else away from this, then please just do some research, look into it. I actually I found today, where is it? Roald Dahl wrote in 1988. His daughter died of measles. His daughter Olivia, who because at the time there was not a safe vaccination. It hadn't been thoroughly tested, and unfortunately she was unable to be saved. But many millions of children can and have and will be saved by just a small needle. There's no reason to not do this. Quite frankly, if I'm being really honest, I would say to not vaccinate your children. It's neglect of your child to the highest degree, and you are lucky enough to be able to birth children, bring them into the world and raise them. You should do it right. You should look after them. You should vaccinate your children. That's all I have to say on the matter.
I've been thinking about fixing my brain, but I'm afraid I won't feel the same. 'Cause baby, it's all I do.
And in what is going to be the most exciting news of the year, Neil deGrasse Tyson has got his own late night talk show. That's right. So it's going to be based on Star Talk. He's already current running podcast for anyone who's already a fan of that. And I've got a direct quote here that says, Neil deGrasse Tyson's Star Talk wants to be The Daily Show meets Car Talk meets Cosmo. So I assume it's going to be, hopefully it'll be for science what The Daily Show is for news. It'll be where people sort of go to understand, to get a bit of humour, but to mostly to be educated about what's happening in the world of science. And this is probably the most exciting news of the year, and I'm really looking forward to this coming on. And I don't know why more people aren't pumped for this, why there isn't news about it everywhere. It's been known for a while now. It's been known for nearly a month now that this is going to happen. I just think there are few, if any, more deserving people to have a public forum to speak about what they're passionate about.
Okay, show notes. Opening song music is by a group called Hope Fall. It's Hopefall. And the song's called Happy Feelings. You can find that on the free music website Jamando. They had Not a Hero with the song Australia from their Paradise Lost EP. A sample of comedy by Bill Hicks from the Love, Laughter and Truth album. You also heard a little bit of SpongeBob from the episode Bubble Buddy. And last, there was Brad Sucks with the song Fixing My Brain, which can be found on the album I Don't Know What I'm Doing. Alright, well, if you made it this far, thanks. Like I said at the top, I'll be doing these when I can, or when I feel like I have something to say. So that's it. Bye.
You're the strangest girl I've ever met, sending weird signals to my head. I've been thinking about fixing my brain, but I'm afraid I won't feel the same. 'Cause baby, it's all